so funny I'm talking about this. Hi beautiful people, it is Brianna Kakamisi from selfdisciplinestartsnow.com. Today I want to talk about what I believe is the single best lesson for 20s and even teens. Disclaimer, I'm actually still in my 20s. I am currently 27 years old, but this is something I have been really thinking about. I was listening to a podcast and one of the guys on the podcast were talking about this, kind of briefly spoke about this. Something just totally hit me and I just wish they spoke about it more, and I said, I'll talk about it. So this lesson actually comes from a very popular lesson from childhood. It is the Three Little Pigs. Yes. So it's kind of funny. I was like, should I do this? But I'm gonna talk about it. So the Three Little Pigs is a classic fable. I think we all know it, but for those who don't know or don't remember, I will give a brief summary. It is so funny I'm talking about this. So the Three Little Pigs is a story about three little pigs or piglets. They are leaving their parents' house. They have to, build a life on their own. So they have to build a house. We follow each one of these little pigs. First, we see the youngest. This pig, he just wants to get this over with. He wants to play. So he says, I'm going to build my house of straw. It is the quickest, it is the easiest, it's easy to get the materials, and it will just be very fast and I'll just have a house. The youngest, he does that. He builds his house of straw. Once his house is built, which is pretty quick, he starts playing. So the youngest, he builds his house in one day. The middle piglet, he puts a little bit more effort. He has to go and gather wood, and he decides to build his house with wood. He gathers sticks and branches and other pieces of wood he finds and builds his house of wood. It took the middle piglet 3 days to make his house. So the story continues, and now we follow the oldest pig. The oldest pig is much more strategic. He thought about where he wanted his house to be. He's like calculating all these different things, and he decides to build his house with brick. The oldest pig, he is working very hard and he's building his house brick by brick. It took him a week. It takes him a week. Remember, the youngest, his house was built in a day. The middle took about 3 days, and the oldest, it took a week. So obviously much longer. As the story continues, a wolf comes, blows down the house of straw, blows down the house of wood and sticks, but the wolf is unable to blow down the house of bricks. And that's what we're talking about today. And it's like, even though this is a child's story, at 27, this is really hitting, okay? Think about how the oldest piglet was feeling when his brothers, when those little pigs were playing, they finished their house. It was so easy. And the oldest piglet is probably sweating, working so hard, busting his butt, watching them play. Watching their house built, what do you think he was thinking? Of course, it's a fable, but this is such a lesson in your 20s. I really thought about this because living in the age of social media, we could easily see our peers who appear to be succeeding, appear to be living their best life. It appears their house is already built and we're kind of just starting our house, right? As a teenager, it seemed as though the 20s was where it's at. It seemed as though when you're in your 20s, that is like your prime time. You are really an adult now. You are not treated as a child. You don't really have to live by or listen to rules. You're in the best shape of your life. You start making money and you have less responsibility because you're still kind of young, right? It just appeared to be this amazing time period. The reality is, it takes time to build the life you want. It takes time, and there is no shortcut. When you are constantly looking at others, whether that is just comparison in general or specifically social media, you are just seeing, of course, we know the highlights of people's lives, and we see all the things that people are gaining, people are earning, especially when it's our peers. When it's our peers that are having certain accomplishments at the time period or at the age that we are. And it can become very discouraging, quite frankly, seeing people that have the car, the house, the family, the career, they have all these accomplishments. But the truth is, it takes time. It takes time, and we cannot cheat time. I just want to come on here to encourage someone that things take time. You are not behind. Things just take time. Things just take time. And when you get discouraged, instead of comparing yourself to all of these people that have accomplished so much, compare yourself to the last piglet, okay? Compare yourself to the last piglet who was working hard, who was focused, who was strategizing what is the best step to take. Don't look left, don't look right, because you really do not know other people's lives. You don't know what goes on behind closed doors. What I can say is, if you are not building with character, with integrity, with true work ethic, your accomplishments will be like the straw house. And that wolf in the story is really like life. Life just happens, and it will blow you down if you are taking shortcuts. I know on the outside people seem to have it all together, but you don't know what their house is made of. You just don't. Focus on yourself, focus on building, because hard work always pays off. Hard work always pays off. Do not try to shortcut. Don't try to cut corners or do things without integrity. Right now, it may be hard to see, but trust me, there is nothing new under the sun. We see time and time again celebrities or people that fall off the pedestal that we put them on, or we see the shortcuts they took, or they are in a huge scandal, lack of character, or they have these huge financial issues that no one would have thought. You do not know what people are building their house on. You don't know, so focus on your house. One thing I loved about this story is that when the wolf came to blow each of their houses down, and they end up at their brother's house with the brick house. So even though they mocked their brother who was taking such a long time to build his house, they ended up needing that brother for protection and for safety from the wolf. So I am stressing this point, focus on your house, because if you build with the right foundation, those people will be looking at you and wondering how you were able to build something so strong and solid. I really hope this was a lesson you got something from. That is all I have. I hope you were able to receive something from this message. Like I said, this is a lesson that tremendously blessed me as a 27-year-old, and I hope that this is a message that could bless you. Please share this with someone who is in their 20s or even a teenager. In conclusion, focus on yourself, work hard, develop self-discipline, because self-discipline is really self-love. Bye.